Did you talk to God about this movie before you
Hell
decided
yeah,
to be in it?
you have every day. I was prayed up. I was prayed up. I was covered. I used to read my scripture. I would have to. This movie was dark, and you know, I would often pray before I went to set, and pray in the car. You know, just to not even to protect me. I'm always protected. You know, I'm my father's child and my mother's child, and they're adored by God. And so I'm always going to be protected. I'm always going to be covered. So I don't want to worry about losing myself in that way. Because a lot of times you do dark roles, and you get sucked in, especially when you're a very committed actor, like, you know, Heath Ledger, for example. Similar, right? That darkness, that place you have to go to create this dark character. I just am grateful that through his whisper, don't be me, be better than me. Lessons, bad things happen, they leave you with a gift. So I go, oh, I'm not gonna take it that far. Some actors, you go method, you can't come back. I just wanna go right to the wall and right to the edge, let some little pebbles fall over the cliff, and then step on back. I don't need to go all the way there. I've seen too many bad examples of people that, you know, that went the wrong way. And I'm a very committed actor. And but those dark roles do something. They can do something to you, you know.
One of the things that I heard you talk about is that you've always been a good dramatic actor, but when you were younger, you had a pretty happy life, and that it took getting older and suffering some tragedy. I mean, you talk about in Good Grief how you lost nearly 60 people over the span of 3 years.
Well, 65 now. People keep dying. Can y'all stop? Maybe 69 now. Maybe you shouldn't know me. I'm bad luck. Get out of here. I like you. You stay. I used to have to manufacture tears. I'm good at that because acting is making the unbelievable believable. Living truthfully in a given circumstance. Whether you've been in that circumstance or not, and it's not you that lives truthfully in that given circumstance, it's the character that lives truthfully in the given circumstance. What you may do in the situation is different than what your character would do, but you have to tether it to yourself, all right? You tether the two things together. And so the truth of what you would have done has to come into play with, and has to communicate with the character so that y'all can live truthfully in that given circumstance. Because you have to infuse your truth into that make-believe and into the fantasy. So, what was the question?
Do you think that losing,
you
think losing all these people in such a short span of time, that pain informs your acting?
Yeah, because I used to have to make believe. I used to have, what if, you know, like, and that's what I'm really good at, is putting myself in a position that I've never experienced, but just thinking about what if I was in that situation can bring real emotions out of me. And I've always been really good at that. And sometimes you have to dig and manufacture those things. When you have the 5-year, I would say, I would have called it a curse, that I will now call a blessing. When you've been through your own hell, and you can pull from there, and you can write from there, and you can create from there. I used to have to manufacture tears. My mother died. That's all I gotta think about. And then it's not to cry. It's to suppress it. It's right there. It's right behind my eyes. I don't need 20 minutes to go think about stuff no more.
And your mom's the one who told you, if you can laugh at the worst parts of your life,
smile the rest of your days. So, you asked me that question. Yeah, I don't have to manufacture no more. And that's why you go, I'm ready. I needed life. I needed hurt. I needed damage. I needed everything that happened to me so I could find me. No crutches. Because when you get over things, you get through things, you find a better version, especially if you're doing the work. I'm the best version of the artist that I've been striving to be right now at 53 than I was at 19. And I was really talented 19-year-old with great instincts. But I've been doing a lifetime of work. And I've been through a lot of stuff. And now when I get a role like this, that I could apply all this into this role and focus all that. And the same thing with my stand-up. When I could take all my pain and go, that's this blood, I'm writing with this. That's where I pull from. I pull from pain. When I do comedy, I pull from pain. Some people pull from the news. Some people pull from pop culture. Some people pull from family. I pull from what hurts me. That's the first thing I say. And I go, how do I make that funny?
I went to see your most recent stand-up act, and
Yeah.
I was crying, laughing, but at one point I was crying. I mean, you make jokes about your trans son, but you also talk about how it changed you going through this period. That is just incredibly touching. I felt like at one point I was sitting in church.
Yeah. I pulled from, that was a very hard time for me. And it wasn't them. It was just life. All this happened when my mother was dying, after, like COVID, my mother was dying, my father was ill, I probably lost 65 people, all these family issues. And then on top of that, now my child wants to transition, my daughter wants to transition, and I was just like, that's when I looked at God like, you playing, right? You playing, what did I do? Why so much? Why so much at one time? And it wasn't just them. If so much wasn't happening to me, I'd have probably been easier for me to, look, it only took me a week. It was a very hard week.
You went through all those 5 stages of grief in a week to
week.
get around to acceptance.
That's how much I love my child. Because at the end of the day, that's how much, and I love life and I love love. So I wanted to stay in a toxic place. And I realized that they were sent to heal me, not to break me. What I found in accepting them was I found peace. I found peace of my parents being gone. I found, because life changes, just like your child changes, but it continues. They're still here. We smile differently, but we still smiling. I love my child, and they have been a blessing to me, and the whole experience has been a blessing because I found light and love, but I also found some wonderful art that I think a lot of parents and a lot of people need to hear. It's healing because it's written with blood and it's signed with love. And I want to gift it to the people because I really feel like it's everything that I went through. I had a show I was writing called Book of Marlon. And I call it Book of Marlon because I feel like I've been through so much in my life to this point. Like, I feel like I'm a Bible story. I'm a chapter in the Bible, everything that happens to me. And all the painful stuff that happens, instead of just lessons, I find jokes. The funniest stuff comes from pain.
But it's more than a joke.
Yeah.
It's more than you're telling a joke, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm telling the story. I'm telling the painful truth in a funny way. And I start in darkness and I get to light. When I do my specials, I don't follow the structure that everybody follows. I'm gonna do 10 minutes of sports and 10 minutes of this, and I'm gonna talk about family, and then I'm gonna end on sex. I don't try to have that structure. Everyone, and that's how you know you're getting good in comedy, is when you take all the different methods that you love and all the approaches and you throw it away and you go, oh, I found me. I found my way. It makes me different. Same thing with acting. All these methods, Stanislavski and Meisner and, Uta Hagen, and you have all these different books and performing arts high school, and then you go, I'm throwing all that away. What's Marlon's method of madness that gets me there? And so I did that with stand-up. I found my own structure. It's like, it's stand-up, but in my head, it's a movie, because I'm an actor. But I get to play every role in that movie. But that's where the voices come in, right? So it's kind of like a one-man show, but it's a character, and this me as a screenplay writer, it's a hero's journey. It's a character that wants something. What do they want? There's an elixir. What is that elixir? And you take them through the structure, not a stand-up structure, a story structure. The 5 stages of grief to get to what? Acceptance. That's what they're trying to get to. Light, love, acceptance, right? And there's insurmountable obstacles in their way. And all hope is lost. And then they fight their way back to be better, to be stronger, and to get the elixir. And that's how I do stand-up. I just put a bunch of jokes on that. And crazy, all kinds of, I don't know what you can rate it. It's like R, NC-17, PG, G. It's wild, it's a wild ride. But I've learned to bring all of me. That's what I love about stand-up, is, every now and again, I'm grateful for Justin Tipping and grateful to Jordan Peele, because they let me give all of me. That's why I like writing my movies, like doing sextuplets, and I'm playing 7 different characters, because this is my movie. I'm doing all of me. That's why I want to do my TV shows, Marlon. I'm bringing all of me. I like doing it all, and I like bringing all of me to the stage, and I think I'm able to pick and choose better material than I used to, because I'm not as desperate to perform, because I'm doing stand-up. So I quell that anxious spirit, that thirst that I have to perform.
So the stand-up allows you to pick and choose movies and
Yes.
TV roles.
Yes. Because I'm able to put the hungry actor to sleep. Every weekend, if I'm a hard worker, I'm doing 9 shows this weekend, which means I got 3 on Saturday and 3 on the Lord's Day. I know why. Because when I film this special, I want it to be special. I want to know exactly where it's at. And I'm working on my next special. Like, I know my next 3 specials.
You're planning that far ahead.
Yeah, because I went to this school. Lucky me. We learned plays, Shakespeare, As You Like It. That was my Spring Drama Festival performance. I was touched on, and As You Like It. And we learned how to learn words, scripts, intention. So I don't need, a lot of actors or a lot of comedians need to 5 minutes here, we were working 5 minutes, make sure this 5-minute work, and remember it, I remember every beat. That's them. When I came to stand up, I already was a writer, movies, I created television shows, I've written a lot of my own sketches, I've went to performing arts high school. I had $1 billion in box office. I had a lot before I started doing stand-up. So I could bring this skill set of all this to stand-up, where a lot of times stand-up start here and then they figure out all those other things. I was reverse engineered. I did the thing you're supposed to do first, last. And then it brought all of this into that artist called a comedian. But I'm able to do, I already know, like, oh, I already know the structure. I know my next 3. I know what I want to talk about. I know what the title is. I know what the subject matter is. Now, when I already know what Skittles is. I know that one. That one's ready. It's already cooked. So I can go, I'm gonna go work on Ugly Baby. And I do that. This weekend, I told one of my friends, Xavier Cook, who a writer I worked with, he fell on some misfortune. And not only did I lose 65 people, but a lot of people I loved had terrible things happen to them. Brain aneurysms, strokes, heart attacks, just a lot of stuff that I dealt with. And he's still alive, so he came out to my show in Dallas, and I did my show, and he goes, "Brother, different. You know, he's still struggling, fixing his talk." He's like, "That was brilliant." I said, "You like it?" He goes, "You're doing great, Grasshopper," because we used to always dream about doing stand-up together, but we were scared. And he's a really funny writer. And I said, "You want to see something?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm going to show out for you." He said, "Okay." I said, "You want to see a brand new hour?" "You just did an hour and a half. How do you have a brand new hour?" "Let's go."
And you did a whole other hour.
Brand new hour.
And you think that comes from life experience and dramatic training?
I think it comes from everything that it comes from our journey. I was born to be special. That's why God gave me so many great legends. I grew up in a house with legends. I'm supposed to be legendary. I grew up in a house with legends. Keenan Wayans, Damon Wayans, Sean Wayans, Kim Wayans. These are my siblings.
Was that ever intimidating?
Yes, that's why I didn't do stand-up, because when you do stand-up, you're supposed to talk about your life. Well, by the time I came along, I ain't got no life to talk about. You got these all, Keenan, Sean, Damon, Kim done told all the jokes about mom and dad. And I was intimidated to do it because I can't talk about being poor. They ain't none talked about being poor, but then I realized something. And that's the beauty of comedy, is I do have a voice because I have my experience in my family with my mother and father. I have a different relationship than all my siblings do with my mother and father, because they were my friends. They were y'all parents. Those were my grandparents. Time I came along, my daddy, he hit this age where he was too tired to beat me. This man had breasts. He was like full of estrogen. He's like, "Just don't do it again, huh?" You know, I got away with murder. Because I was, like I said, my journey has been special. To grow up in that house, to know Eddie Murphy when you're like 8 years old, the biggest star in the world comes to your house. To be on movie sets and work with legends like Robert Townsend, who let you write a few and day play in his Partners in Crime. To be an extra and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, and be on the set and just playing like a little kid, and to go to Performing Arts High School, to go to this school and study acting every day, dramatic acting. And then to know that, oh, I'm gonna be a writer first because actors don't work. My teachers told me that, so I'm gonna create roles for myself. So I already came out the gate going, no, I'm gonna write me and Sean created our own show. He was like 21 and 22. Don't Be a Menace, he was like 23 years old.
But you knew we need to write our own material.
Yes, but do you understand, at the time, I wasn't thinking about being special. I've just been working from necessity, not understanding the sword that the fire was creating. And it's for the first time in my life, at 53, I could look and go, shh, yo, this is Excalibur. This is special. It's not ordinary. It took me doing the work for 53 years to feel special.
You didn't feel special?
I felt like I was working towards something.
And now you feel like that something is here?
I feel like it's never there, but he's getting closer. I never want to peak. I should have been written off years ago. My career should have been gone.
Why do you say that?
Who lasts 35 years in this industry and continues to not just survive, continues to entertain, continues to grow, continues to get better? Usually you come out the gate and you see it, the stars, for 5, 10 years, yeah. And it's like, all right, I'm tired of him. He got that thing he does. I don't have a thing.
You think that's it? You've continued to evolve? It's not one thing?
I do everything. I'm a student. I get better. I've been getting better. Every year I get better. I don't care if it's stand-up. I don't care if it's acting. I don't care if it's producing. I don't care if it's writing. It's because I do it all consistently. Your natural progression is you get better. You shoot 1,000 jump shots, you're gonna get good. You shoot 10,000, you're gonna be great. Your arm may be a little sore. Now, learn to do it with the left hand. I look at guys like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, who you would think they were one-trick pony. He came, Michael Jordan, well, he's the GOAT because he started with the dunk. Everybody was scared of the dunk, so they started crowding him, snatching him out the sky. He was like, all right, now I'm not gonna dunk. Now I'm just gonna softly lay it up. Oh, and you think I can only go right? All right, bet. So now when you're trying from my right hand, I'm gonna stay in the air so long, I'm gonna switch it to the left. Now, okay, you're gonna really crowd the middle. All right, well, I'm gonna learn to shoot this set shot. So I don't have to go all the way there. 18-footer, all right. Oh, so you're gonna give me that, just crowd all this. You're gonna give me all this free space right here? All right, bet, three-pointer. Eight three-pointers in one game. Then, okay, you're gonna triple team me? I'm gonna trust my teammates. Then you're gonna foul me? Okay, I'm gonna go from a 70% free throw shooter to an 80-something% free throw shooter. So I'm gonna take those free points. And just when you think I'm getting old and I can't dunk no more, I'm gonna create this turnaround jump shot that I'm gonna kick my leg out, fall backwards, and stay in the air just a little bit longer than you, because I'm getting older, and I'm gonna hit that shot. It's practice, it's hard work, it's dedication, it's the stuff that people don't see. They don't see me working like this. But it's how I show up. Now I can show up for those games because I'm doing the work.
And do you feel like every time people think they know Marlon Wayans, you switch it up?
It's not on purpose. It's not. I don't try and switch it up. I just never been a guy that has a thing. You come out the gate, oh, Marlon's, he's goofy. He's, goofy, crazy, they do scatological humor, pop culture, hip hop. Okay, great, that's what you know me for. Watch me work, continue to work my craft. Every day I'm working, then, oh, he's starting to do stand-up. Well, he's talking about, wokish. He does that little thing and he's got the structure that all the comedians have, start with pop culture, end with sex, and then the second one. And I remember when I did my first one, my niece, Shantae Wayans, who's a comedian, really funny, been doing it longer than me. She was like, Uncle, you shouldn't do your special. I said, why? She said, because why don't you wait a little bit of time so it's more special? I like the one that you're working on now. I think you should do that one because it's more personal. I said, I see that, baby girl. But I just want to do this because this ain't my, she said, it should be special. I said, for you. See, this ain't my end-all be-all. I'm just gonna put this special out to see where I'm at. And then every year and a half, every 2 years, I'm gonna drop a new special. And I wanna see the progression of an artist. And by the time this is done, I hope to have 20 specials. And I'm just gonna keep on putting them out and just watching and seeing if I continue to get better. And when there's a drop-off, that's when I'll get concerned, and that's when I'll dig deeper, and that's when I'll become an even better version of the artist that I was. It's all about doing the work, staying a student, being passionate, and never feeling yourself. I just start taking moments to be confident enough because you gotta own it. You gotta say it to the universe. You gotta believe it. If you don't believe it, nobody else is gonna believe it.
So true. You've touched on this in your stand-up. Are there movies that you did just for the paycheck?
Oh yeah, pretty sure, definitely. But I never did nothing bad intentionally. What was something bad? I actually, in my head, I thought the movies were gonna be good. Honestly. I didn't understand that, okay, when I did Dungeons and Dragons, I had a great time doing the movie. We just didn't have the budget to make real dragons. Like, you can't make real dragons. That's cost $150 million. We was trying to do it for $3 million. And it was still an entertaining movie, but there's more elements that go into things being successful. And it's not always just you. I've learned that. Like when I read material now, Who's directing? That's important to me. Who's producing? Who are the visionaries? What's the budget? How are you gonna execute this? In how many days? Because that's producer and me. Okay. Who's marketing it and distributing? How many territories? Is this worldwide? Now, 53 years, you start asking the right questions. And now you're making different decisions than you would back when you're just a 19-year-old that's just happy to work. I see a much bigger picture, and I know how small I am in that picture. It's not just me. Who am I surrounded by? And I'm just gonna do the work, but these are my helium balloons. So we going to the moon if we do it the right way. And I think like with him, you got Jordan Peele, you got Justin Tipping, you got Universal, you got Tyreek, Julia Fox. I mean, the list, all the elements just is like, oh, this one's good.
When you read the script, what did you think? What did you think about him would resonate with audiences the most?
I thought that just the story of meeting your hero and how much you want them and how much you want to impress them. And you don't understand that sometimes they hate you because they know that you're trying to replace them. Insecurity is something that everybody has. Envy, jealousy. And then I like the triumph. And I like the dedication. I knew what kind of work I was gonna do. I saw a great character, I saw a great story, I saw great elements. And when Jordan and Justin, it was an offer. So there was no read.
You didn't have to audition for this movie.
In the meeting. They had me on Zoom. They was like, we want you for this. You're the only guy for this. I don't get a lot of offers like that. Because I'm busy creating my own stuff. It's rare somebody, I have to meet, have to work for it. They called the meeting.
What did that feel like? That they just offered it to you?
I felt like my mother was in heaven talking to God. That's why I feel like I'm gonna be elevated. I have two angels up there talking to God for me. Hey, God, my dad, I've been a loyal servant to you, Jehovah. Can you help my boy out? He's doing this little thing. And my mother's like, oh, shut up. God, come here, let me talk to you. Now, my baby, I gave you 10 kids, 5 of them, 5 boys, 5 girls, and they making great kids. We stay out of trouble as a family. Marlon, my baby, he really been dreaming about being this big thing and working so hard. Can I show you pictures of him at the pizza shop? My mother's up there talking God's ear off. He's like, oh, I give it to him. Shut up, just please. Hal, come get your woman. I got him. And so God's favor, that's the only thing, and you're prepared for it. And I worked hard and earned it, and it was like, you're the only one we want for this role. And then when we got close to filming and we finished, and Jordan came to set, and he pulled me to the side, and he was just like, what an amazing performance that you gave. He was like, I gotta tell you, you're one of one right now. He said, there's been rare guys that have the skill set that you have, that you display, that you are as an artist. There's only been about a handful of guys. And most of them are either dead or crazy, or they're just not doing it anymore. Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Foxx, and my brother Damon. He was like, the 5 guys that had that skill set that they can go from deep, dark drama to hilarity and hit it everywhere in between. He said, and I just want, and I was like, I didn't see it. I saw myself, and he anointed that. He started making me think about seeing myself differently. Not saying arrogant, I'm never gonna be arrogant, but to be confident in what you do, to own it, You have to own it. You have to own the vision because you have to be brave enough or courageous enough to throw it out there to the universe. And then the universe is going to conspire with you. And it's crazy. When I went to go do this movie is a blessing. Kind of saved my life.
Saved your life.
I was in a really bad place. It was a very dark place. There was just so much happening. I needed an outlet. And this movie gave me the outlet to discover the best version of myself after the pain. When I went to find Isaiah, I jumped in this dark, murky pool to go find this dark character. I'm swimming down there, and I grabbed his hand. I found him. I saw Isaiah. I go up to get out the pool, and I looked up, and I seen a broken Marlon Wayans, face down, like a superhero that was just like Iron Man. If you used to see him after what's that one where they kicked his ass? What's the one with the dude?
Oh, Thanos?
Thanos.
Yeah.
What's the name of that one?
Endgame?
Come on, you look nerdy, sir. What is?
Yeah, Infinity War.
Yeah, Infinity War, Endgames. Imagine if there was still a little spark left in him. That's what I saw myself as. And I was like, I'm gonna bring Isaiah to the surface, but I'm gonna grab Marlon. And I'm gonna put Isaiah and Marlon because I'm studying what it is to be a GOAT. I'm studying what it takes to make it. I have been studying the whole time, my whole life, with this at a feverish pace. And I'm gonna breathe life and resuscitate Marlon and put him into me. And that's why this movie was so important and kind of a lifesaver, because I got to see myself for all the dreams that I wanted to be. That, no, you've been doing the work. You are everything that you have worked to be. And even though you will never stop working, and there's so much more that you're gonna give because you're tireless until you can't give no more, but right now, you're there. So own it.
How dark did it get for you?
In my life?
Yeah, when you were in that stage where all these horrible things were happening.
2 therapists dark.
You had 2 therapists?
2 therapists.
Did that help?
Yeah. Yeah, I just talked to them yesterday. It's still dark. You don't know what it's like working with my brothers. And the thing about it, no, I'm joking. It got dark, it got hard, you know? And the hardest part, it wasn't the damage. It was having to show up for everybody.
As you're going through this
As I'm going
depression.
through this, beyond depression, and people losing lives, best friends, and it was a lot. My mother, my father, my aunties, my uncles, it was crazy. It was a wild time. And, you know, I made sure that I showed up. I went to a lot of funerals during that time. I spent a lot of time in a lot of hospitals with a lot of friends, feeding them, watching them learn to walk again, you know, just showing up. And it was hard. And there was no time for me, no time for just my kids, or just, you know, I just had the cape on and I was just flying around. So, and that's a gift that I didn't sit still and let it all hit me. But
because
I
you
realized,
had to keep showing up.
Right. So, and also, when you asked me earlier, what am I chasing? And when I said, I don't know what I'm chasing, maybe I'm chasing and I'm running at the same time. So I was running from all this stuff that was happening to me because I didn't want to sit still, because I didn't know how I was going to take it. If I got to sit still and let it affect me, I didn't know what damage it was going to do to me. So I just kept moving. And I ran from it as I chased my passion. And that's God, that He gave me this thing, and it's helped me to cope, and it's helped me to survive. and it's helped me to keep my joy, and it's helped me to take care of my family, and it's helped me to just be happy. It's my cloud. Performing is my cloud. I love it. I write and produce just so I can perform. I do all this work just so I can perform.
That's where the joy is, in the performance.
Between action and cut. Now, don't get me wrong. I've learned to really enjoy writing. Like, we just wrote Scary Movie 6. We wrote like 500 pages just to break it down to 110 pages. That's the joy and the love that I have for what we do. You know, when I do a special, this thing about the Skittles is easily, I could do a hot hour and 47, which is fine. I know I got to cut that down to about an hour and 7, hour and 10.
And that's fun, but there's something about performing that is...
Yeah. And it's shooting through, you have to shoot through a wall. If you just want to hit the mark, then you're going to be good. If you want to break through that wall, your potential to be great. So give more of yourself, not less. I do more. I over-prepare so that I can really, and that's what everything I do, all the writing, producing, I just overly. And my brother taught me, if you want to make it in this industry, especially as a minority, you have to be an undeniable force of nature.
And you've done that.
I've learned over the course of 53 years that was whispered in my ear, and yes, that's what I'm becoming. I'm still becoming, but I'm here. I understand, like, and then you have to not just, when you're doing movies and stuff, that's the fun part. Then you got to market and promote. Do you still have the wind? Do you still have the energy? Do you have the energy to get off a red-eye plane and you're about to do 2 shows tonight? And 9 shows this weekend? Do you have the energy in this synapse to give it a great interview that where you can actually, have energy and make people laugh and still be vulnerable and, yeah. So yeah, I don't complain about work. I just do the work. My publicist thinks I'm crazy. Jess Pearson, shout out. So, they think Vision PR. They think I'm crazy because I don't complain. I just do the work. I might be a little late, but it's not because I'm not doing the work. Even that is part of work.
Right.
I
You're
gotta eat
fitting in
something.
more work,
Yes.
right?
So, yeah, I just love it. I love it.
You touched on Scary Movie. How does it feel to have that franchise back home?
Feels great. It feels like I missed you.
Feels
like Scary Movie is kind of like, Scary Movie 1 and 2. I don't think people understood. Like, when we did Scary Movie 1, and me and my brothers, we rarely smell the roses. We rarely receive our flowers, and we don't give them to ourselves. It's not us. So, look at what we've done. It's always in hindsight. Like, man, we did that. So when we did Scary Movie 1, it opened up $42.3 million, and in a weekend. And I remember sitting at Cape Mandelini's with me, Sean, and Keenan, and we cried because we made history. That's the first time that we really acknowledged, man, that was the highest grossing film, written and produced by a team of African Americans, directed by not just an African American director, but for a comedy director. And we're excited for this venture. We're bringing everybody back, me, Anna, Regina, Sean, and we're gonna, the world needs a laugh right now. It's perfect timing. I feel like the world, when was the last time we had a great comedy in theaters that everybody sat down? Because when we did Scary Movie 1, kids was in the aisles. You could hear the laughter outside the theater. It was huge. So I want to just make the world laugh again. And this is a great opportunity to do it.